unlimited drama series.
You didn't leave? Nadia whispers, her face draining of color as she sees me sitting on our bed in the darkness. Flight was canceled, I say, keeping my voice steady as ice. The storm outside rattles our windows, and I can hear Mrs. Luntz's dog barking next door. Where's your phone and laptop? What? Why would you? In the safe. I lean back against the headboard, watching her fidget with her purse strap. 23 years of marriage, and I've never seen her look this guilty. Now lift your dress. Her voice trembles. Are you losing your mind, Danny? I am Danny Morrison, 42 years old, former high school boxing champion turned insurance adjuster. These days, I spend most of my time in Ricker's auto shop, fixing cars and pretending my life isn't falling apart. My wife, Nadia, is everything I'm not. Polished, successful, a corporate lawyer who drives a BMW and wears suits that cost more than I make in a month. Just checking something, I say, standing up slowly. See, I found some interesting texts on your phone earlier, before I locked it away. The color completely drains from her face now. Danny, I can explain. Can you? Because the messages I read were pretty explicit, especially the ones about what you and Elliot were planning to do while I was supposed to be in Chicago. I walk closer, and she backs toward the door. Tell me, Nadia, when exactly did our family friend Elliot start sending you pictures of his dick? She starts crying then, those fake tears she uses in court. It's not what you think. It's exactly what I think. I grab her phone from the safe and scroll through the messages. Here's my favorite. Can't wait to taste you again while Danny's gone. Real classy, Nad. And this one. Your husband's such a loser. You deserve better. Yeah, Elliot's a real poet. Danny, please. You know what's funny? I sit back down, surprisingly calm. I actually believed you when you said you were working late. All those nights, all those weekend conferences. I thought my wife was building her career. Turns out she was just building a relationship with a sleazy realtor who drives a Tesla and thinks he's God's gift to married women. Nadia wipes her eyes, smearing her makeup. It just happened, Danny. We didn't plan it. Bullshit. I show her more texts. These go back 8 months. 8 months of you lying to my face, coming home and kissing me after you'd been with him. 8 months of making me feel like I wasn't good enough, wasn't successful enough, wasn't man enough for you. She tries a different approach, the one that used to work. Danny, baby, we can work through this. Marriage counseling, whatever you want. What I want is for you to tell me the truth. How many times? Where? Was it in our bed? No, never here, I swear. The Riverside Motel, then? I found the receipts, Nadia. 17 different times. Always when I was out of town, always charged to your credit card. You didn't even try to hide it. The fight goes out of her then. She slumps against the dresser, looking older than her 41 years. How long have you known? 3 days, since I came home early from the Henderson claim and decided to surprise you with dinner. Instead, I surprised myself by going through your things. I stand up again, pacing now. You want to know what really pisses me off? It's not just the cheating. It's how stupid you think I am. Did you really believe I wouldn't find out in a town this small? Mrs. Luntz saw you coming home early, Nadia says quietly. She told everyone at the grocery store that your truck was in the driveway Tuesday afternoon. Good old Mrs. Luntz, 67 years old and still the neighborhood watch captain. I laugh, but there's no humor in it. So the whole town knows my wife's cheating on me, and I'm the last to find out. Perfect. It's not like that. It's exactly like that. You know what Dwayne said to me at Murphy's bar yesterday? He said, hey, Danny, you need to keep better track of your woman. I thought he was just being an asshole. Turns out he was trying to help. Nadia starts crying again, real tears this time. I never meant for this to happen. Elliot was just there when you were always working, always at the shop. Don't you dare blame me for this. My voice gets harder. I work 2 jobs to keep up with your lifestyle. The insurance gig barely covers the mortgage, so I fix cars at night to pay for your BMW, your designer clothes, your fancy dinners with your lawyer friends. And this is how you repay me? I know, I'm sorry. Sorry doesn't fix this, Nadia. Sorry doesn't undo 8 months of lies. Sorry doesn't make me forget that my wife preferred fucking a real estate agent in cheap motel rooms to being honest with her husband. She flinches at my language. Good. I want her to hurt. What are you going to do? She asks. I smile then, and it's not a nice smile. I'm going to think about it. In the meantime, you're sleeping in the guest room. And if you try to contact Elliot, if you try to delete anything else from your phone, if you even think about running to your lawyer friends for advice, I will make sure everyone in this town knows exactly what kind of woman you really are. You wouldn't? Try me. I head for the door, then turn back. Oh, and Nadia? Cancel whatever plans you had for tomorrow night. We're having dinner with your parents, and you're going to sit there and smile and pretend everything's fine while I decide what to do with my cheating wife. I leave her standing there in our bedroom, still in her work clothes, still beautiful, still the woman I thought I'd spend the rest of my life with. But that woman was a lie. This woman, the one crying in our bedroom because she got caught, this is who Nadia really is. I go downstairs and pour myself 3 fingers of bourbon. Outside, the storm is getting worse, and I can see Mrs. Luntz peeking through her curtains. Let her look. By tomorrow, she'll have plenty more to gossip about. My phone buzzes. A text from my daughter, Sophie, away at college. Mom says you guys are having problems. Is everything okay? I stare at the message for a long time before typing back, everything's fine, sweetheart. Focus on your studies. But everything's not fine. Everything's fucked. And it's about to get a whole lot worse. I finish my bourbon and start planning. The next morning, I call in sick to both jobs and follow my wife. Nadia leaves the house at 7:30 sharp, same as always, looking professional in her gray suit and carrying her leather briefcase. She doesn't look at me when she grabs her coffee, doesn't say goodbye. Good. I don't want her fake pleasantries anymore. I wait 5 minutes, then get in my truck and tail her BMW through downtown. She doesn't go to her law office. Instead, she drives to the Riverside district, parks outside Elliot's condo building, and sits there for 10 minutes talking on her phone. I park across the street behind a delivery truck and watch through binoculars I borrowed from Ray at the boxing gym. Elliot comes down at 8:15, looking like the smug asshole he's always been. 38 years old, 6 feet tall, with the kind of artificially white teeth that scream, I sell houses to desperate people. He gets in her car. They drive to Mel's Diner on 5th Street, where they sit in a corner booth and have what looks like a serious conversation. Nadia's crying again. Elliot keeps reaching across the table to hold her hand. I take pictures with my phone from the parking lot. At 9:30, they leave separately. Nadia goes to work. Elliot goes back to his condo. I follow Elliot. His building is one of those modern glass towers that went up during the downtown revitalization project. Expensive, pretentious, exactly the kind of place a guy like Elliot would choose to impress married women. I park in the visitor section and wait. At 10:45, Elliot comes down to the parking garage in workout clothes. He drives his Tesla to Gold's Gym, where he spends an hour lifting weights and checking himself out in the mirrors. I watch from the cardio section, pretending to use the elliptical machine. This is the man my wife chose over me. This vain, shallow piece of shit who probably spends more on hair products than I make in a week. I study him, looking for weaknesses. He's strong, but not as strong as he thinks. He's got that soft look of a man who's never been in a real fight, never had to work with his hands, never struggled for anything in his life. I can work with that. After the gym, Elliot goes to his real estate office in the Merchant District. I drive by slowly and see him through the window, talking to clients, gesturing at property listings, playing the successful businessman. His Tesla is parked right out front, gleaming in the afternoon sun. I stop at Murphy's Hardware and buy a few things. Nothing illegal, nothing that can't be explained. Just some supplies for a little project I have in mind. That evening, Nadia comes home at 6:30 with takeout from Romano's, our old favorite restaurant. She's trying to make peace, trying to get back to normal. I let her think it might work. "How was your day?" she asks, unpacking chicken parmesan and garlic bread. "Productive," I say. "Did some thinking." "About us?" "About a lot of things." I open a beer and sit across from her at our kitchen table. The same table where we used to eat breakfast together, where we planned vacations, where we talked about Sophie's college plans. "Tell me about Elliot." She freezes with a forkful of pasta halfway to her mouth. "What about him? How did it start? I want to know." "Danny, please." "I'm not angry right now, Nadia. I'm curious. Help me understand how my wife of 23 years decided to start fucking our family friend." She sets down her fork. "He was there when you weren't." "I'm here now." "No, you're not. Not really. You're always at the shop, always working on some car, always covered in grease and complaining about money. When was the last time we went out to dinner? When was the last time you bought me flowers, or told me I looked beautiful, or made me feel like a woman instead of just another bill to pay?" "So this is my fault?" "I didn't say that. You just did." I take a long drink of beer. "You're saying I drove you into another man's arms because I work too much and don't buy you enough flowers. You don't understand. Explain it to me." She looks around our kitchen at the outdated appliances and the linoleum floor that needs replacing, at the stack of bills on the counter and the grocery list held up by a magnet from our last real vacation 3 years ago. "I'm 41 years old, Danny. I make good money, I'm successful at my job. I have things to offer, but when I come home, I feel like I'm living in the past. This house, this life, it's like we're stuck in 1995. All my friends are moving forward, buying new houses, traveling, living, and I'm here with a man who thinks a night out is beer and wings at Murphy's Bar. Those friends of yours know about Elliot?" She doesn't answer, which is answer enough. Jesus Christ, Nadia. How many people are laughing at me behind my back? Nobody's laughing. Bullshit. I saw Jill Peterson at the grocery store last week. She could barely look me in the eye. Now I know why. Jill Peterson, Nadia's best friend since college. Instagram influencer with 40,000 followers and a lifestyle blog about living your best life. She's been to our house dozens of times, eaten our food, smiled at me, asked about my work, and all the while she knew my wife was cheating. "Jill doesn't know anything," Nadia says, but her voice is weak. "Don't lie to me anymore. I can't take any more lies." We sit in silence for a few minutes, picking at our food. Finally, Nadia speaks. "What happens now?" "I don't know yet. I'm still figuring that out." "Do you want a divorce?" "I don't know that either." "Do you want me to stop seeing him?" I look at her across the table. This woman I married when we were both young and stupid and thought love was enough. She's still beautiful. Still the smartest person I know. Still capable of making me laugh when she wants to. But she's also capable of lying to my face for 8 months while she fucked another man. What I want, I say slowly, is for this to have never happened. What I want is to go back to 3 days ago, when I still believed my wife loved me. What I want is to not feel like a complete fool every time I look at you. I do love you. No, you don't. You love the idea of me, the security I provide, the fact that I'm safe and reliable, and will always be here. But you don't love me, Nadia. If you loved me, you wouldn't have done this. She starts crying again, and this time, I think the tears are real. I made a mistake. You made a choice. Every time you met him, every time you lied to me, every time you came home and kissed me after being with him, you made a choice. Don't minimize it by calling it a mistake. I finish my beer and stand up. I'm going out. Where? Does it matter? You'll probably call Elliot the minute I leave anyway. I won't, I promise. Your promises don't mean much to me right now. I grab my jacket and head for the door. Outside, Mrs. Luntz is watering her flowers in the dark, obviously trying to eavesdrop. I wave at her. Evening, Mrs. Luntz. Beautiful night, isn't it? Oh, hello, Danny. Yes, lovely weather. Is everything all right? I thought I heard raised voices. Just discussing some changes we're making around the house. You know how it is. Oh, yes, of course. Well, if you need anything, I'll let you know. I drive downtown to Murphy's Bar, where Dwayne is holding court at his usual table, telling stories to anyone who will buy him drinks. Dwayne Kowalski, 45 years old, ex-con, and the closest thing I have to a best friend. We went to high school together, before his life went sideways and mine got boring. "Danny boy," he calls out when he sees me. "Come drink with us degenerates." I join his table and order a whiskey. The other guys are talking about the football game, but Dwayne pulls me aside. "You look like shit, brother. What's eating you?" "Woman troubles." "Ah, the eternal curse. What did Nadia do now?" I almost tell him everything, but something stops me.
He just gave me a massage. That's it!
Remember, I won't be a cuckold!
Watch more on Grammarly.com.
Maybe it's pride. Maybe it's the fact that once I say it out loud, it becomes real in a way I'm not ready for. Just the usual married couple stuff. Bullshit. I know you, Danny. You're planning something. I can see it in your eyes. Dwayne's right. I am planning something. I just don't know what yet. If I was planning something, I say carefully, hypothetically speaking, what would you suggest? Depends on what she did. Hypothetically, let's say she was cheating. Dwayne's expression gets serious. How long? 8 months. Fuck, with who? Someone we both know. Double fuck. Dwayne finishes his beer and signals for another. Well, hypothetically speaking, you got a few options. You could forgive her, try to work it out and go to counseling and all that shit. Or you could make her pay for it. Make them both pay. What do you mean? Dwayne leans closer. I mean, in a town this size, reputation is everything. People like to talk, especially about other people's business. Sometimes all it takes is the right information, getting to the right people at the right time. That's not really my style. Maybe it should be. Nice guys finish last, Danny. Always have, always will. Sometimes you gotta fight dirty to get what you deserve. I think about that on the drive home. Fight dirty. It's not who I am, not who I've ever been. I'm the guy who plays by the rules, works hard, keeps his head down, tries to do right by everyone. And where has it gotten me? A cheating wife, a mortgage I can barely afford, and the whole town laughing behind my back. Maybe it's time to try a different approach. When I get home, Nadia's already in bed, in the guest room, like I told her. I go to my computer and start researching. Elliot's business, his social media accounts, his property records, his financial information. Public records are amazing things when you know where to look. By 2 in the morning, I have a plan. It's not a nice plan, but then again, I'm not feeling particularly nice these days. I wake up early and drive to Elliot's building. His Tesla is in its assigned spot in the parking garage, gleaming under the fluorescent lights. I park nearby and wait. At 7:45, Elliot comes down in his workout clothes, gym bag slung over his shoulder. He's talking on his phone, laughing at something, probably making plans with my wife. After he drives away, I get to work. I don't damage his car. That would be vandalism. And I'm not ready to cross that line yet. Instead, I do something much more subtle. I take a dead fish from the cooler in my truck, left over from last weekend's fishing trip with Ray, and wedge it up inside his front grill, where it won't be visible but will start to smell in a day or two. Then I write a note on expensive stationery I bought specifically for this purpose. Hope he's worth destroying your marriage for. Some of us still believe in loyalty. A concerned friend. I slip the note under his windshield wiper and leave. Next stop, Jill Peterson's house in the Riverside district. Jill lives in a restored Victorian that she's always posting about on Instagram, calling it her dream home and her sanctuary. It's beautiful, I'll give her that. But it's also completely fake, just like everything else about her. I park across the street and watch her morning routine through her picture windows. She's got her phone set up on a tripod, recording herself making breakfast in her designer kitchen, talking to her followers about starting the day with intention and gratitude. Gratitude, right. I wonder if she's grateful for helping destroy my marriage. I don't approach the house, not yet. Instead, I take pictures of her routine, noting the times, the patterns. Information is power, and I'm collecting as much as I can. At 9:30, I drive to Nadia's law firm, Dorsey, Klein & Associates, occupies the top 3 floors of the First National Building, the tallest structure in our downtown. Nadia's been working there for 12 years, climbing the ladder, building her reputation as one of the best family law attorneys in the region. I don't go inside. Instead, I sit in the parking garage and call the main number. Dorsey, Klein & Associates. This is Rebecca. Hi, Rebecca. This is Mike from City Insurance. I'm trying to reach Nadia Morrison about the Hendricks case. I'm sorry, but Mrs. Morrison is in meetings all morning. Can I take a message? Actually, I was hoping to catch her at lunch. Do you know if she'll be in the office, or does she usually go out? Oh, she almost always goes out for lunch. Usually to Romano's or that new place on 5th Street. Great, I'll try to catch her there. Thanks. I hang up and smile. Romano's is where Nadia and I used to go for anniversaries and special occasions. Now it's where she goes for lunch, probably thinking about Elliot, planning their next rendezvous. My phone buzzes. A text from Sophie. Dad, Mom called me crying last night. She says you guys are having serious problems. I'm worried about you both. I stare at the message for a long time. Sophie doesn't know about the affair yet, and part of me wants to keep it that way. She's 19, focused on her studies at State, building her own life. She doesn't need to know that her parents' marriage is a lie. But another part of me, the angry part that's been growing stronger each day, wants her to know exactly what kind of woman her mother really is. I text back, your mother and I are working through some issues. Don't worry about us. Focus on school. Can I come home this weekend? I want to help. Not necessary. We're fine. It's a lie, but it's a kind lie. The kind parents tell their children to protect them from ugly truths. Unlike the lies Nadia's been telling me, which were designed to protect herself, while she betrayed everything we built together. At 11:30, I drive to Ray's boxing gym on the south side. Ray Castellanos is 65 years old, built like a fire hydrant, and the toughest man I've ever known. He trained me in high school, turned me from an angry kid into a decent boxer, taught me discipline and control. The gym smells like sweat and leather and old dreams. Ray's in the ring with a young heavyweight, teaching him footwork, barking instructions in his gravelly voice. Danny, he calls out when he sees me. You look like shit. Get in here and hit something. I wrap my hands and work the heavy bag for 20 minutes, trying to pound out the rage and frustration. It doesn't work. If anything, the physical activity makes me more aware of how angry I am, how much I want to hurt the people who've hurt me. Better? Ray asks when I'm done. Not really. Want to talk about it? I tell him everything. The affair, the lies, the humiliation. Ray listens without judgment, occasionally nodding or grunting his understanding. So, what are you going to do? He asks when I'm finished. I don't know yet. You know what your problem is, Danny? You're too nice. Always have been. Even in the ring, you held back. You could have been really good if you'd been willing to hurt people. Maybe I don't want to hurt people. Sometimes people need hurting. Sometimes it's the only thing they understand. Ray goes to his office and comes back with a business card. Friend of mine, private investigator. If you want to do this right, you need evidence. Real evidence. Not just text messages and motel receipts. I take the card. Marcus Webb, licensed private investigator. How much does something like this cost? Depends on what you want. Basic surveillance, couple hundred a day. But Marcus owes me some favors. Tell him I sent you. I pocket the card and head home. Nadia's car's in the driveway, which surprises me. It's only 2:30, and she usually works until at least 6. I find her in the living room, sitting on the couch with a glass of wine, staring at nothing. You're home early, I say. I couldn't concentrate. I kept thinking about us, about what I've done. And I want to fix this. I want to make it right. How? I'll stop seeing Elliot. I'll change jobs if I have to, move to a different city, whatever it takes. I just want my husband back. I sit down across from her, studying her face. She looks sincere, but then again, she's been lying to me for 8 months. How would I know the difference between sincerity and performance? You'd really do that? Give up your career, your friends, everything you've built here? If that's what it takes, yes. What about Elliot? What about him? Are you in love with him? She hesitates, and that hesitation tells me everything I need to know. I thought I was, she says finally, but I think I was just in love with the excitement, the attention, the way he made me feel. It wasn't real, but your feelings for him were real enough to risk our marriage. I wasn't thinking clearly. You were thinking plenty clearly. You planned meetings, you lied to me, you covered your tracks. That takes clear thinking, Nadia. That takes deliberate choices. She finishes her wine and sets the glass down with shaking hands. What do you want me to say, Danny? That I'm a terrible person? That I destroyed the best thing in my life for a few months of feeling desired and appreciated? Fine. I'm a terrible person. I made terrible choices. But I'm still your wife, and I still love you, and I want to save our marriage if it's not too late. It might be too late. Please don't say that. Why not? It's the truth. You can't unfuck him, Nadia. You can't take back 8 months of lying to me. You can't undo the humiliation of having the whole town know my wife was cheating on me. The whole town doesn't know? Yes, they do. Mrs. Luntz knows. Jill knows. Your coworkers know. My friends know. The only person who didn't know was me. And that's because I was stupid enough to trust you. She starts crying again, and this time, I don't feel sorry for her. I feel nothing at all, which is somehow worse than feeling angry. I'm going out, I say. Danny, please. I need some air. I need to think. Where are you going? Does it matter? You'll probably call Elliot anyway. I won't, I swear. Your word doesn't mean much to me right now. I drive to the lake, to the spot where Nadia and I used to go when we were dating. It's quiet here, peaceful, the kind of place where you can think clearly. I sit on the dock and watch the sun set over the water, trying to figure out what I want. Do I want my marriage back? Do I want revenge? Do I want to forgive and forget? Or do I want to make them pay for what they've done to me? My phone rings. It's Dwayne. Danny, you need to get down to Murphy's. Now. Why? Just get down here. Trust me. I find Dwayne at the bar, talking to a group of guys I recognize from around town. They all go quiet when they see me, which means they were talking about me. What's going on? I ask. Tell him what you told me, Dwayne says to a guy named Pete, who works at the hardware store. Pete looks uncomfortable. I don't know if I should tell him. Pete sighs. My wife was at Romano's for lunch today. She saw your wife there with that real estate guy, Elliot, what's his name. They were all over each other. Kissing, holding hands, the whole thing. Right out in public, like they didn't care who saw. The bottom drops out of my stomach. When was this? Around noon. Lisa said it was pretty obvious they were more than friends. I think about Nadia coming home early, sitting on the couch with her wine, telling me she wanted to fix our marriage. She was with Elliot 3 hours before that conversation. She was kissing him, touching him, probably planning their next meeting, and then she came home and lied to my face again. Danny? Dwayne's voice sounds far away. You okay? Yeah, I say. But I'm not okay. I'm done being okay. What are you going to do? I finish my beer and stand up. I'm going to make some phone calls. The first call is to Marcus Webb, the private investigator. The second call is to a lawyer I know who specializes in divorce cases. The third call is to my brother Paul, who I haven't spoken to in 2 years. Paul, it's Danny. I need a favor. By the time I get home, it's after midnight. Nadia's asleep in the guest room, and I can hear her phone buzzing with text messages. Probably Elliot, wondering why she seemed upset this afternoon, making plans for tomorrow. I go to my computer and start typing. An email to Nadia's boss, Ms. Dorsey. Another email to the local newspaper's gossip columnist. A third email to the Better Business Bureau about Elliot's real estate practices. I don't send any of them. Not yet. But I write them all, crafting each word carefully, making sure they'll have maximum impact when the time comes. Then I go to bed and sleep better than I have in days. Tomorrow, the real fun begins. I wake up at 5 a.m. and drive to Elliot's building. His Tesla is still there, which means he spent the night at home instead of with my wife. Small mercies. At 6:15, Marcus Webb arrives in an unmarked sedan. He's exactly what you'd expect from a private investigator. Mid-40s, unremarkable appearance. The kind of face you'd forget 5 minutes after meeting him. Perfect for surveillance work. Ray says you need some help, he says when I get in his car. I need proof. Photos, recordings, whatever it takes to document my wife's affair. How long has it been going on? 8 months that I know of? Maybe longer? Marcus nods and pulls out a contract. My rate is $300 a day plus expenses, cash only, and I need half up front. I hand him $1,500, money I withdrew from our savings account yesterday. Nadia will notice eventually, but by then it won't matter. What exactly do you want me to document? Everything, every meeting, every phone call, every time they're together. I want enough evidence to bury them both. Legally speaking, adultery isn't a crime in this state. I'm not looking for criminal charges. I want ammunition for the divorce proceedings, and I want leverage. Marcus studies my face. Leverage for what? That's my business. He shrugs. Fair enough. I'll start today. Should have something for you by